Hello. Some of you may know me. I was recently asked by two idiots to say a few words on their behalf. So, here goes. They're raw, unrefined, definitely rough around the edges. Apparently, they're all you're gonna need for the next 2 hours. Really?
Happy Sunday, everybody. Welcome back to Something for the Weekend. I hope you guys are settled in and ready to get this thing rolling. I'm going to be today's host, your man, Big T, and I guarantee we all going to have fun and come out happier than we were before the start. And so sit back, relax, and get ready to tune in to Something for the Weekend.
This is the moment you've all been waiting for. The show that discusses everything you want to hear and says everything you want to say. Tackling the tough topics and taking the piss out of everything serious. From all over the world, this is Something for the Weekend. With your hosts, Andre, Joey, Easy, Big T, and the lady keeping them in line, Roxanne.
All right. Let's give it up for Joey and that fancy new intro we got going on, man. You showing off, I see. But let me go ahead and get this thing rolling. One of my brothers from another mother that I met a little over a year ago, and whenever he graces the stage, it's always a good time. What's up, Easy? How you doing today, man?
Big T, what's happening? What's happening, sir? Is it only a year? I thought it was longer than that.
It's a little over a year. It was 20
Is that all?
January 2021. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Wow. I'm good, sir. I'm good. Everything is bubbling nicely. How about you? What's happening with you?
Oh man, I'm still here. Gas prices are going back up, and my football team sucks. American football team, just to put that in quotations. But other than that, life is life.
Okay, that's cool. No, but everything's good. Everything's good with me. Like you. Prices are going up here. You know what I mean? It's yeah. Prices are going up here, and you got tighten the belt and stuff. But hey, it's all good.
There we go. And the man, the myth, the legend, the person responsible for us being on screen today, Andre Freeman, everybody.
Hey T, how are we doing?
Oh man, so much better that you're here, man. It's all
Love the intro, man. Love the intro.
I learned from the best. You know what I'm saying? I went to that Freeman School of Art, man, and I took it out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so listen to say it's been about a year. It's been about a year already, is it? Time flies. Been having fun, man.
Exactly.
I thought it was longer than that, man.
Yeah.
It'll be 2 years in January, like around the 17th or something like that. I'll find the date and I'll send you guys an anniversary email. We could do that.
Yeah. We have to celebrate something in January, mate. We have to do something to celebrate in January.
Oh yeah.
Crazy.
And the person that keeps us in line with grace and beauty, the most elegant, the most high, Roxanne. How you doing today?
Oh.
Me again. That's me, man.
Oh, so glad you could join us today. And last but not least, the man behind the machine that's running the show for us, the technical wizard, the token white guy, unfortunately, but he's our guy. Come on.
Say what's on the tin.
You know, my
My dreams have been fulfilled. I'm the token white guy, so I think I can die happy now.
Right.
Oh yes,
Oh,
oh yes,
man.
oh yes. So welcome back everybody to Something for the Weekend.
Oh,
I
yeah.
think we got an interesting show according to our topic at hand. And if it's going the way I see it going mentally, it's going to be a topper. So, let's let's get this thing started with some views from the news. I actually I got an interesting story. If you guys don't mind me going first. So I want to ask everybody a question, right? Let's say you were married and the relationship didn't end well, and one of you ended up passing, let's say the other spouse or whatever, and you guys still held a grudge. What do you think is some messed up stuff you would do after death? that like what are some things you think you would do after death? I'm just curious.
Can I answer first? I don't know what I would do, but I know the story. I know the story. See, I know the story. I know the story. I read the story. Yeah, I think I know where you're gonna go with this one.
Oh,
yeah, I'm not gonna say I don't know. Look, you know how it is, Andre. You and I used to snatch up the same stories.
Yeah.
I can't think of. I think if if a relationship I was in ended badly and she died, I guess I don't think I could feel. I don't think I would feel good about it. You know what I mean? Unless she was driving my Ferrari.
I think I've already spoken to Roxanne about this, and if anything was to happen to me, and there'd have to be a waiting period of 6 or 7 years before anybody else could come on the scene. If someone else was on the scene before then yeah, I'd come back and I'd haunt up everybody, man. So yeah.
I
said you give it 6 or 7 hours.
Exactly, easy.
And you make sure you hide that bottle of poison.
Hey, if she loves you, she'll understand. You can't go that long without somebody, some love and affection or something of that nature.
But she'd be grieving, wouldn't she? She'd be grieving. You can't be thinking of other people when you're still grieving.
I mean, some people
6 or
grieve
7
quicker
minutes
than
you
others.
Yeah, it's true. And therein
Maybe-
lies the
How about you, Joey?
What? So hold on, we have a comment coming in from YouTube. You all know this person
Already?
Yeah.
I start tearing through ads like a paper shot. What's up, Steven?
It's Steven.
Oh my days! Is the name from the past?
We may have to get him
that
on here
is
with
an
us
absolute-
one weekend.
Yeah, for sure. You know what? I saw the name. I didn't recognize the name, but then when I read the comment, then it just all tied together.
Okay.
Who else is going to say something like that?
So
Yeah, I know.
Great to hear from you, Steve. Great to hear from you.
there's a guy in Orangetown, New York, who held a grudge with his wife. And this article says a man was arrested for desiccating on his ex-wife's grave, and now his families are demanding answers. The police department arrested 68-year-old man for allegedly urinating on his ex-wife's grave continuously, every day for 9 months straight.
When you gotta go, you gotta go.
It's gonna stink.
Her family called this disgusting and outrageous. This is disgraceful to me, my family, and it's embarrassing, said Michael Andrew Murphy, the son of the deceased woman. A witness saw the man in Tampa Reformed Church Cemetery in Tampa, New York, visiting. I guess every time he went there, he said he visited sometimes as much twice in a day to urinate over this poor woman's grave. And one of the witnesses says, I can see him walking up to the grave, and I can't from here, from where I'm standing. All I see is a stream hitting the gravestone and leaking down onto the grass below the headstone. Apparently, she ended up getting pregnant with someone else's child and lying to him, and he found out later on in life, and he decided to get back with her by, watering the flowers with his own brand. And I just think that when you get to a certain age, you learn to let things go. But I can understand his anger. Like I haven't been there with that exact situation, but I've been in a situation where a woman filled me with that much rage, not to the fact that she lied about a child that I was raising, but being very disrespectful. And I commend him for his idea, but he got caught. Like you can't get caught doing that. Like that's something you admit on like your deathbed or in a will. Like, just so you know, for the last 40 years, I've been urinating on your mother's grave, and I hope she got a little bit of that before she went on. But that's just me. I can't speak. Like my petty runs deep. A good friend of mine told me, if you go low, I go to hell. And I don't want to be on the receiving end of that. You know what I mean? But that's just me. Anybody else got a story?
Yeah, I got one. So let's see here. A New York City man has been charged with smuggling. He smuggled at a U.S.-Canadian border crossing. Calvin Bautista is 36 years old, and he's accused of bringing something into northern New York. This is from a while ago, but anyway, anybody want to guess what he was smuggling? He was also sentenced to 20 years in prison and had a fine. No. Let's see. The charges potentially carry a sentence of 20 years in prison and a fine as high as $250,000. Anybody want to take a guess?
Smuggling the person.
If it's not human organs, I'm gonna say sex toys.
All right. Andre said a person. Easy, you got a guess? Roxanne, you got a guess?
I would say a restricted animal.
Okay, that's close. Yeah. So New York. Go ahead, Roxanne. Were you about to say something?
I'm just going to go with drugs.
Drugs. So Easy was close. This New York City man was charged with smuggling 3 Burmese pythons in his pants, and no, that is not a euphemism. So he had them on a bus that crossed into northern New York, and the importation of Burmese pythons is regulated by an international treaty and by federal regulations listing them as injurious to human beings. Let's see here. Burmese python, one of the world's largest snakes, considered vulnerable species, native to Asia, and is invasive in Florida, where it threatens native animals. But he was smuggling snakes in his snakes in his pants, coming into the U.S. and I guess there's only one python allowed to go be in your pants in the U.S. So.
Bobby Whittaker wants to know, was he a bone smuggler?
Oh, look! And there you have it.
That sounds like a nickname for a British boxer, the Bone Smuggler.
As you already had the Bone Snatcher.
Joey, I felt a Woody from Toy Story joke coming in there somewhere, something about snakes and boots. Like I felt that coming, but it just didn't happen. Like it was right there.
You're gonna go, Andre? Do you want me to go?
Okay, I can go. If I can find it.
Okay,
yeah, here it is. So, bear with me, please. A woman taking a nap with her mouth open ended up in hospital for 3 days after her daughter's dog got a poop in it.
Oh gosh.
Amanda Gomo and her daughter were looking
I
after
read this.
Yeah, I was worried that someone else was going to come up with this. With their chihuahua named Belle, who was suffering from gastrointestinal distress when the incident occurred. I was having my afternoon nap with Belle, like I always do, when I suddenly felt something squirt in my mouth. I jumped up to see Belle scampering away and hide under the table. I wasn't sure what had happened at first, but then it hit me. First, the taste, and then the smell. But here's what I find interesting. I rushed to the bathroom and my son was in the shower. So before I washed it out, I had time to take a quick snap
What?
and later posted it on Facebook.
What?
Yeah, and I've actually got a picture here. So let me see if I can quickly.
Oh,
Oh no, I thought I could share. Where's the option to share screen? I heard it.
Should be down at the bottom of the screen. It says should be somewhere down at the bottom.
Ooh, I've done that. So I think you do you have to do anything?
God.
Yeah, here you go.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
So yeah, so
God.
she had the time. She had the time to take a snap before she washed it off.
I knew the race of this person before this picture came up.
Behave yourself.
Yeah.
Behave yourself.
You know, here's the thing. I knew the
You know
race
that
of
was my
this
question.
person. I knew the race of this person as well. But I can't tell you I wouldn't have done the same thing. So I can't promise I wouldn't have done. You know, there's no way to know until I'm in that situation. But
There's
I
no way to
can't-
know what. There's no way
if
to
I
know
would have
what.
taken a quick picture or not. Just
Trust
no one
me,
would have believed me.
some of us know. Some of us don't
I'm
need to
just
have it.
saying-
Some of us know.
Yeah.
For me, there's no way for me to know that until I'm put in that situation.
Wow.
But
Okay,
yeah, I
interesting.
knew
No,
the race of
no.
this person
Uh-uh.
as well, and yeah, but
Yeah.
still. But here's the thing: I need to know what happened to the dog after that, because that dog, I
Well,
wouldn't have kept that dog.
See,
anymore.
exactly.
Well,
No, that
well,
dog- no, that dog would have been dead.
There was a picture in it. She was
Dog
hugging
would
the
have
dog after. It says it was disgusting, and I was hurling violently for hours.
Yeah.
After. I couldn't
Yeah.
get the taste out of my mouth.
Oh, God.
However, Gomo's ordeal was only just beginning. After a few hours of vomiting and diarrhea, the family called an ambulance. Paramedics advised her to drink plenty of fluids, but her symptoms, including painful cramp all over her body, continued to get worse. Eventually, she was transferred to the hospital, where she was kept on a drip for 3 days while she dealt with the infection plus dehydration resulting from vomiting and diarrhea. Oh, can you imagine? My discharge note said that I suffered a gastrointestinal infection caused by a dog defecation in my mouth, something the doctor said they had never witnessed before.
Oh, God.
So,
They
Which
didn't
actually,
know what
'cause
they
I
said
was
that time
gonna-
either.
because actually I was going to ask the question. Then you guys, you actually, Joey, have you got any dog poop stories? Because I know you've got some big old dogs. Do you ever fall asleep?
So
Me-
no story like that. But my great my Great Dane is a very nervous dog out in public, and it never fails when I have to take her to the vet that she always shits in the floor at some point. Like,
So what happens
Wow.
at the vet? At the vet, do you still have to pick that up, or because it's a vet, do they pick it up? What happens in that scenario? Who picks up?
it
this?
depends on what all is going on, but most of the time it's me. I have to pick it up, and they have the bags there, and you pick it up, and they have the little stuff, and I'll spray it on the floor and wipe. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna clean up after my dog, but it never fails. Last time she did it, and I didn't even know we hadn't even made it to the counter yet. We were just walking, and she did. Like, she was just dropping it behind her as we went. It's a poor girl.
Pick up your dog, mate.
Yeah, no. But my thought about this: if the woman stops to take a picture, meaning it was still in her mouth, right? It's still in her mouth. She stopped to take a picture. If she's married, she can never tell her husband that there's things she doesn't like having in her mouth. Like, ever. She can never say that. She can never. Yeah. Never ever. I mean, if she said that to, if I married her and she said that to me, I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean you don't like that?
Edit.
When she posted that evidence on the internet.
Why am I not? Why am I not allowed to teabag you? You see what else you have in your mouth?
Yeah, I have to admit,
Yeah,
for me, that was
that-
what was surprising. The dog poo in the mouth is one thing, but you had time to take a picture. Amazing.
Yeah. So,
Yeah, yeah.
Joey, after the show, we need to talk. Just saying. Easy, what you got?
Here you go.
Can I just read out a couple of comments?
Okay, so
Hold on, Easy.
uh-huh.
Go ahead,
Sorry.
Roxanne.
Deb sent George Alexander as gross. The same too with Emma. And also Delight Maxwell, he says, wow, I really love this show.
All right. Cheers for that. All right, go easy.
Okay, right. My one also involves dogs.
Ooh.
Okay, so yep. 23-year-old Jonas Carlson attempted to break into a Baton Rouge residence by going through the resident's pet door. Unfortunately for him, things didn't work out exactly as planned, and he got seriously stuck in the small entrance designed for dogs, and things only got worse from there. According to the version of events he presented in his lawsuit, the two German shepherds in the yard took advantage of his vulnerable position to tear his pants off apart with their teeth and raping him repeatedly. Mr. Carlson claims the savage assault lasted more than an hour and an hour and a half non-stop before he called the police to turn himself in. And it took 45 minutes before the police arrived. They were probably on the floor killing themselves.
Oh dear.
Anyway, his lawyer, Anna Sheridan, says her client was seriously traumatized by the event and that the residence owner, 93-year-old Thelma Matthews, is responsible for her dog's behavior. Miss Matthews, on the other hand, claims the dogs never sexually assaulted anyone before and says she doesn't intend to pay a dime to that little bastard. Mr. Carlson demands Mr. Carlson demands a total of $857,250 in damages, as well as the euthanasia of Mrs. Matthews' two dogs, Bingo and Ringo. The elderly woman insists that no matter what the court decision is, she will refuse to pay Mr. Carlson, even threatening to give away every penny to charity and die ruined to make sure he gets nothing. Mr. Carlson is presently detained while waiting for his trial for burglary, so the court has suspended the beginning of the procedure in the civil court until May. Experts disagree concerning the eventual outcome of the case, which is expected to draw a lot of media attention. While most agree the demands are probably excessive, the opinions vary concerning Mrs. Matthews' legal responsibility in the young man's psychological trauma. The majority of experts believe the court will judge for a financial settlement estimated to be around between $100,000 and $350,000.
Where is this?
Dogs, Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
That was in Baton Rouge? Wow.
Wow.
So
That's Louisiana, man. Them people down there, them people down there are a little backwards sometimes.
I think for that kind of money, you're going to get a lot of people breaking into people's houses and willing to take one from the dog
And getting stuck. And getting stuck.
You know what I mean? A bit of dog food in their pants or something like that.
that's
The
a
police
case of. Go ahead, Easy.
The police took 45 minutes. I'm not surprised. They're probably killing themselves laughing. I'm sorry. They had to be laughing. I would have hung up. I would have hung up. Hi, what's happening? I've been raped. Oh my gosh, what happened? Two dogs, Bingo and Ringo, rushed me while I was stuck in their doorway. Okay, bye. Come on. No, man.
I guess you really can sue anybody for anything these days. Like, you know, if that's the case, I'm about to sue McDonald's for Ronald McDonald traumatizing me as a child. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it's coming down to.
Well, I'm guessing, if he's telling the truth and the dogs really did ravage him. That's a little bit more. That's a little bit more than watching Ronald McDonald there. You know what I
Hey,
mean?
the
I'm
the
assuming
body,
that it can't be true. I'm assuming it can't be true.
the
It can't be true.
mind,
Come on.
the mind doesn't discrete between like emotional and physical trauma. It reacts the same way. So who's to say it wasn't as worse as mine? You know what I mean? I'm just saying.
Yeah, I've heard that talk before, but I mean, if those dogs really did assault him sexually, really, then nobody can tell me that that's the same as watching Ronald McDonald. Nobody can say that. but has he really got medical evidence? I can't believe that. Are they really saying?
Yeah. Was there a rape kit done? Was there a rape kit? Was there a rape kit done? Do you know what I mean? Seriously, he got stuck in. He got stuck in their door.
DNA. They don't think
And
DNA.
thought, oh,
How
yeah,
can-
exactly.
How can a dog testify? Like, do their paws get fingerprinted? These are the questions I have. Like, will they get a jury of their peers to defend them? These are all things that need to be answered. Honestly, though, I mean, this is America. You know what I mean? If we're gonna do it, let's do it right. Oh no! But anybody else got something they want to share?
No, come on. You know. Oh man.
All right.
Topic.
Yeah. I think I can see people dropping comments
Yeah.
already. So yeah, let's
Yeah.
topic.
Yeah. I like the way you chopped that up to get the pot stirred. Joey, that was a nice one. But you know, to the topic at hand, you know, I posed the question, you know, are men becoming more feminine, and are women becoming more masculine? And it seems like there's a balancing act going on with that, in my personal opinion. And it's unsettling, and at the same time, I think that people aren't really they're addressing that, but they're not really, discussing it. And that's what I plan on us doing today. So, before we go on, start off with you, Joey. In your opinion, do you think that's true?
That men are becoming more feminine? Yes. Yeah, I do. I do think so. Especially young men.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. How about you, Andre? You agree with that?
Yeah, the straight answer for me has to be a yes. But
All right.
I think society is promoting that. So yeah, my straight answer is yes.
Okay. How about you, Roxanne? I see you shaking your head.
I agree. I think the answer is yes, but I think it's due to society's concept of what feminine is. So I think, going on as the show progresses, I think I'll explain more. But I think yes. My straight answer is yes.
Okay, and you, Easy.
I actually think no.
No.
No, I think no. Yeah. Yeah, I do. Yeah, I think no. I don't think men are becoming more feminine. Just like I don't think women are becoming more masculine. No, I can't. I don't see it.
Okay. Well, I've had this conversation quite a few times before, and to a degree, this was touched on, but it was never like the center of the conversation. And from certain women I've dealt with in the past, right? I've noticed that, like, the dudes they dealt with before, prior to me, or after me, they realized that they had to step up in a way that the man wasn't. And she was like, the fact that you couldn't handle your responsibility, or you couldn't take on that role of, being, the man in a relationship, it didn't allow me to be feminine. So I had to, shoulder that position. So I see what she was getting at from. And then you hear an uprise of men looking for women to take care of them, You know what I mean? Sugar mamas and stuff like that. Now we know about the sugar daddy epidemic that's been going on as of 2022, but you hear those scenarios a lot more than you hear about women, at least these days. So, guys responding and getting into certain situation, being catty. These are feminine traits that I believe are bringing this topic, to light and making it be such a strong thing that everyone believes. I mean, I can't speak for anybody else, but I see those things. And compared to the generation I come up in and that I'm living in right now, things are very different in my opinion. So
Yeah, I agree with that. But don't forget, men are encouraged to do things that at one stage was probably considered feminine. I mean, just a very basic thing of showing emotions. There was a time when men wouldn't want to show their emotions. Now men are encouraged to show their emotions. We know that makeup and all those sort of stuff now appears to be something that men can wear to some degree. I mean, plucking your eyebrows and stuff like that isn't a big deal anymore if a man does it. So there's a lot of things that men wouldn't have done back in the day, probably in our parents' generation, my parents' generation, that men will do now, and people won't even blink an eyelid at it. So I think a lot of the things that men are doing now would have been considered feminine 30 plus years ago.
Okay, so men showing their emotions, is that feminine or is that being honest?
Well, that's the question for me. I think that's being honest, but it was classed as a feminine, the sort of So maybe what feminine is probably changing, because again, then that really comes down to that whole question: feminine, masculinity. Isn't that something that's man-made, to put bluntly? It's a concept. That's what it is. And
I don't know about that. I don't know that I agree with that.
What, feminine and masculine?
Yeah, I don't know that I agree with that. I mean, because evolution will show you that women have always had specific kind of traits and character traits and men have always had specific ones as well. Even in nature now, I mean, you have the males of a species act differently than the females of a species, and society didn't put that on the animals. I mean, that's so. I don't know that I disagree that feminine and masculine and biological traits from emotion and things like that. I don't know that I agree that that's well,
I'm not talking about biological traits, I guess. I'm talking about behavior. So, for instance, we know straight away that you have a child, as a boy, from the off, we start training them to be what we consider to be masculine. We give them certain toys, we dress them a certain way. And in doing that, you could argue that we are steering them in a certain direction. And the same with the girls. You buy them dolls, you treat them in a certain way. Again, you could argue that you're steering them in a certain direction. And that's the feminine and the masculine side that I'm talking about. Of course, as you said, you grow up and naturally there will be certain traits that a boy has and a man has and a female has. But I think a lot of what society calls masculine and feminine, you could argue is taught. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I kind of agree.
Okay.
I think that society has basically given us a set of ideas of how we expect men and women to dress and behave and present themselves. Yes, I think that men have become more feminine, but that's based on these ideas that society has.
Yes.
Yes.
I concur with that.
Yeah. So I think if we change the concept of what femininity is, then maybe there wouldn't be.
Well, that's just it. And I think we are changing the concept of what feminine is. That's why I say that, like Easy says, you can, as a man, you can cry now, and it's no big deal. Well, it shouldn't be no big deal. 30, 40 years ago, it may have been, especially if you're crying over a movie or something like that. So yes,
Yeah, I'm
so
not-
because it's a concept, social concept, it's changing as expectations are changing. That's the point I'm trying to make.
I think.
in some ways,
Go ahead.
go on,
Easy.
T, go on. Sorry, no, you go on, go on.
I was going to say, I think that being overly emotional is the thing that makes you seem feminine to certain women. Like crying over the loss of a loved one, or because someone's sick, or something tragic happened in your life, is understandable. But if you're crying over a sunset, I think that you lose respect or cool points as a man to that woman. You know what I mean? Like,
Sure.
so
What if you cry over a movie?
It
you mean
depends on if
Lion
it's old
King?
Yeller. It depends on if it's old Yeller or not.
Like when Mufasa died, is that what you talk about? Because if I'm not a child, I'm not crying. You know what I mean? That's just me. Now, if I find out that something happened to Eddie Murphy, I might shed a tear. I'm not gonna show everybody, but I'm gonna be hurt by that. You know what I mean?
No,
As a
no.
person who
Like
respects
when
that.
Tom Cruise
on.
when Tom Cruise said to Renee Zellweger, "You complete me." Like that was, that's
No.
an emotional moment.
No. Okay, so all right, so
No, Andre, do you remember? Sorry, go on, see, go on.
No, you jumped in. So
Andre brought up an example about men acting more feminine, right? And it made me think about this particular situation. When I was younger, I didn't really care about, like taking care of my hands until, I was in a position to start putting them on young ladies, right? And they took issues with my hands being, rough to the texture. So I started taking better care of my hands. You know what I'm saying? Something that my mother always taught me is that, always keep your fingernails clean. Girls don't like, dudes with dirty fingernails, right? And one time this girl saw my fingernails and looked at me like I was crazy. And she was like, you ain't got no dirt under your nails. And I was like, you take issues with that? Like, where these fingers go, right? Like you want that? And she looked at me like I was crazy because I kept my fingernails trim and I kept them clean. And it's some women that are used to that, and they articulate that with being what men should be. Just that one-sided way of thinking. Me personally, I'm gonna carry myself the way I see fit. And that usually works out. But for some people, they like if your hand's not rough, you're not a real man. If you don't do physical labor, you're not a real man. You know what I'm saying? Like these are the things they equate to what manhood is. So it's really an obscure way of thinking.
You know what, T? I applaud you for your manicured nails. Okay, I'm going to tell you this now.
Why?
If you scratched her, trust me, you'd hear her. You would hear her. If you scratched her, you would hear her.
Exactly.
Talk about you. Trust. Yeah, so good.
You can't do certain
if that's
things
what
with
you're
long
feminine, then
nails.
guess what? I'm feminine.
What did
Exactly.
what did you say, Roxanne?
Exactly.
I said, why? Is that where his nails are going then?
And you repeated it.
I mean, two in the pink, one in the stink, right?
Oh.
Ain't that I kid.
Oh,
no, you
man.
don't. No, you don't.
See, I think men, especially young men, have been hearing for a while women say, like, I want a man that's emotional. I want a man that's not afraid to show his emotions or whatever. But I think when a man does that, and someone said it earlier, is like they lose respect in you. I mean, you show your emotion, and I think it's scary. I think it's scary to some people, but some women, it's scary to your kids. I mean, there was a time when my kids were young, and something happened, and so I cried. Not like a boo-hoo cry, but like there were tears running down my face over this situation. And my daughter saw me, and when she was on my podcast, one of the things Stephen asked her was, what's the one, where's the biggest place he's failed as a father, is what he asked me. And he was trying to be funny, you know, and she was kind of trying to be funny as well, but she was completely serious. She was like, maybe don't let your daughter see you cry, is what she was like. That was a big thing. And I think kids don't know what to do or how to cope with that when they see their dad crying. And I think a lot of younger women, they think they want an emotional man, but once they actually see that emotion come out, I mean, I think it's scary and they don't know how to handle it. I mean, so
for sure.
I don't know. It was like Bill Burr said, go get in the shower where no one can hear you cry and then be done with it, you know.
Right.
I mean,
Can I just go to
I
some
don't know,
comments on our Facebook page? Brian Bullard says, women don't want men they can't control. Any comments
wow.
on that?
Controversial.
I feel like that's a completely different topic altogether.
But I like the statement though. It's controversial, so keep them coming.
Oh, for sure. I almost completely agree with that statement.
Yeah. I see where it's coming from as well.
I mean, just to go back to that statement, do you feel like your woman's in control?
Do you feel like
what woman?
For sure.
I didn't stutter. I said, do you feel like your woman is in control?
in control of what?
100%.
In control of what?
Anything.
The relationship.
Name it. Oh, I don't know that I would say the relationship, I guess, maybe, but everything else, then probably, yeah. I think it's
because in control is one thing, and in control of the relationship. Do you mean controlling the relationship? Because that's so. In control means, I'm assuming, means that they understand what needs to be done from their end. And if that's the case, then I would have said yes. And just like I would have thought, I'm in control in that I understand what's expected of me in the relationship. But as for in control of the actual relationship, I'm not sure that any one person should be in control of a relationship.
I like that answer.
Exactly. Yep. That is absolutely correct.
Yeah. I mean, look. I mean, go ahead.
I was going to say, I think he meant a woman having control over that metaphorical leash. That if he decides to get out of place, when she tugs it, he knows to sit still. Like that type of control.
Damn. Damn, that's some control, man.
Yeah, I'm just saying, some people are like that. Now, it's understandable if you're the type of person that you need somebody to put you in check to protect yourself and not just, your family dynamic and everything like that. That's understandable. But to say sit and come here, boy, like not just verbally, but through your actions and stuff like that, I think that's a bit much. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
So my wife said to me not too long ago, a few months or so ago, she's like, I want you to be able to be vulnerable with me when we talk about something, whatever. And and what she means is like one of my biggest fears is being forgotten when I'm gone, is like being an afterthought that to my kids, to my wife, to my close friends, whatever, like that when I'm gone, you guys are going to be doing this show and I'm going to be a complete afterthought to anyone that I like and care about. But, and that's what she's talking about. But like, she sent me a photo of something she baked the other day. It was beautiful. She doesn't want me, though, looking at that photo and then crying because it's such a beautiful thing. That's not what she's talking about. Yeah.
Joey, you said if things didn't work out with your wife, you would date Caitlyn Jenner. We will never forget you.
Here's the thing. If you look like an attractive woman and you have woman parts, I don't give a shit. Like
Joey.
Yeah.
Joey. Which part of Caitlyn Jenner has women bits?
Which part of I don't know. I've not had the luxury of seeing that yet.
Luxury.
Yeah, I said yet. Yeah, I said yet. Yeah.
Oh,
I said yet.
luxury, No.
Please.
Oh.
Yeah, what's up, Lush?
No. No.
It does seem to me,
Can't believe
it does seem to me that the general conversation is still the same about different degrees of I don't know, like showing emotion. So in other words, this whole idea about what is feminine and you know, like crying, for instance. So like Joey says, you know, it's one thing crying over a sunset, you know, it's another thing crying over a death. So the question is, where in between is it okay? I went back to the movie one. If a guy cries over a film, is he what? Is he less than a man then? Is he steering towards showing feminine qualities?
you.
I think it depends on the film.
You cried over a film.
Sorry?
Yes, it does.
It shows feminine qualities.
Joey,
Oh, about you, Joe? Oh, it depends. Oh, no, it depends on the film.
I think it depends on the film. Yeah, if you're crying over, you know, what was Jerry Maguire? Like I said, when he says "You complete me," if you're crying over that, that's not the same as say like when Easy cried over the Passion of the Christ. So I mean, you know, there's a difference there.
Yeah.
I've not even seen Passion of the Christ.
I know. I'm just no.
Okay.
But look. If I hate the movie Old Yeller. I don't think it's a good movie. But if I had to sit down and watch that movie with someone, when that dog dies, he's got to put that dog down. I'm not going to tell you I'm not going to tear up. No.
Yeah, you and dogs, man.
Hey, human beings do not deserve dogs. We just don't.
Wow.
Joey, I fully agree with you.
Maybe that's something we can discuss in another show. Do human beings deserve dogs?
Oh, right. Already, no, they don't.
Easy. Let me just quickly go back to this, Easy, and I'm going to ask you this question. I've asked you this before, so I'm going to ask you again. Have you said? Because you said it depends on the film. Have you ever cried over a movie? Sounds like a silly question.
Yeah, Debbie Does Dallas doesn't count.
No, it's not a silly question. It's not.
Wow.
Yeah, no.
That's a tearjerker. That's a tearjerker.
It's a jerker for sure.
Oh my days! BT just set that one up lovely.
Who needs British boxers when you got an American compatriot that'll set you up like that?
For sure, man.
There you go.
Have I cried over a film? You know what? I think at the time I said to you, when you and I discussed it, and I said no. And in hindsight, I have.
Because that's what I was going to ask the question. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
And I can't film. I'm going to tell you who was in it. It was a film with, of all people, Mark Harmon from NCIS or whatever they call it. And it was years ago, and it was set in the Depression era. And they took his kids away from him. He lived in a little shack, and he was I think the wife was ill or she died. And she took they took the kids away. and they took the kids away. But the other one, actually there's two actually now, was the Elephant Man. It was the Elephant Man.
Interesting.
And I'll tell you why. It was because of the way it was the inhumanity of men to another man. Sure. To another human being. That's what teared me up.
Oh, so about Roots then? Did you cry with Roots? Because there's a lot of that going on in Roots, mate.
I was crying. I was crying with anger. I was crying with anger. I was angry. I was angry. Oh, we went to the same school, so you know that come Monday morning. Oh, we were ignorant. Don't you tell me nothing.
Okay.
Yeah. Don't you be telling me nothing.
So, I think society really has an influence on how men should be viewed, and it's crazy because you can't be seen eating a hot dog in public, not straight on. You got to break it up into pieces, right?
What?
a banana, any cylinder shaped object should go nowhere near your mouth if you're a man in public, right?
Wow.
Now,
Wow.
think about it. If
Beer
your
can?
pants are,
Beer can?
I mean, if you got the throat go status and you can put your mouth around the entire lid of a beer can, hey, that's one thing. But if you're just hitting it from the hole, then I mean that that doesn't sound right. But anyways, look,
I digress.
if you wear pastel colors, or if your clothes are too tight, or if you're wearing something that traditionally females wear, now your masculinity is being challenged. You know what I mean? So all these things.
But T, you got a kilt. T, you've got a kilt.
Yeah, and I dare somebody to say something to me about it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but there's a lot of people out there that would say a man shouldn't wear a kilt because that's just a skirt, even though I disagree with that statement. But there's a lot of people that would say that.
Come up here and say that. Come up here.
No, I disagree with the statement I made. I'm just saying, but there's a lot of people that would say that, especially in the South.
Yep.
Yeah, and they can say what they want. The difference between them and I is that I don't care what the next person thinks. I don't have a weak mindset that my mind can be easily influenced. You know what I mean? But not everyone's like that. We had a lot of people that's walking around like Emmett from the Lego factory. They just perfectly waiting in line, doing their little shuffle, and it's just like, that's what it is. But as soon as something falters and changes their little mindset, then they're like, okay, what should I do next? I mean, they don't like me. What should I do next?
So what about the guy?
How do I proceed?
Sorry. So what about the guy who wears a skirt? We know Beckham, David Beckham. I'm assuming you guys know him. He's British, but I'm assuming you should still know him who he is.
You talking about David Beckham?
Yeah, he wore a skirt once and got a lot of press about it. So was that feminine of him to do that?
Yes.
Hold on.
According to Big T, that's just him.
Was it a skirt?
I was going to say that.
Sarong, was it a sarong?
Or was it a sarong?
Well, we know we're getting feminine when we're trying to distinguish between the two.
Well, for sure. And
Come on.
the word is right there. The word "wrong" is right there in the name. So I mean, yeah.
Okay. All right.
So according to Big T, he was he's not being a piece of Lego or whatever it is. Big T was saying he was being independent. He was thinking for himself. Probably dared anybody to come and tell him otherwise. I mean, how is he any different from Big T in a kilt?
Yeah,
okay, let me pose a question to you there, Andre, with that. If you saw a Filipino man wearing a sarong, would you class him as feminine? Would you, that's what he wears in the Philippines?
Well, I agree fully. But my point is only that this whole feminine thing is, and I said it before, and I use the word made up in the sense that we have these ideas. For instance, if a man cries during a movie, now it depends on what movie it is. If a man's wearing a sarong, we're saying it depends on where he comes from. So there are all these mindsets that are telling us what's right or what's wrong. And I think there's room to question them.
So okay. Roxanne, let me ask you a question, right? Okay. So, are you a fan of Idris Elba?
Oh yes, yeah.
Ooh, that was a little bit. That was.
He was, wasn't it?
That was. Yeah. I don't even know how to explain it.
You know what? I know exactly. I know exactly where Roxanne's going when Andre passes.
Yeah, that was like.
Are you to pass for a long time, and 7 years after that, he's going to be old.
What do you think of Idris? What do you think of Idris Elba? Bondage, James
Roxanne.
Bondage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
all right. So, all right. Who's somebody that you're not really a fan of? That's famous.
It's famous
Aesthetically.
What? Chris Rock.
Okay, so if you saw them both wearing the exact same Speedo, what would you say about the two and the difference? Like, what would be your exact words?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, and a lot of coughing, I'm sure. Yeah.
What would be my
Yeah.
words?
Ooh.
Do you have a hat to go with those speedos?
Mm.
Because I've been looking at his face. I wouldn't be looking
Yeah.
further down.
I'm sure.
Stop lying. Stop lying.
Yeah,
Stop lying.
where's Vicky going with this?
Okay. My point is, can you honestly say that, in your opinion, one of them can pull that look off and the other one can't?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so that's
you know?
that's the point. So if a guy can pull off a dress or a speedo, then that doesn't
Then
take
he should
away his
pull it off
masculinity.
because he shouldn't have it on.
The point is,
Hold on.
it-
Says the man who says the man who loves up Caitlyn Jenner. Seriously?
Look, all I
That's a
said.
chat up line when he meets him.
Jesus. Yeah,
the point I'm trying to make is, if you can pull something off, or if someone respects you or likes you that much, it doesn't matter to them, but to everyone else it does.
Right.
Sure, but we're
I
not talking
agree.
about respect. We're just talking about whether it's feminine or not.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes, I
but
agree.
this is somebody who was supposed to play James Wan, one of the most famous fictional men of mystery ever, right?
Sure.
And you just heard somebody say he can wear a speedo, like or let's say he had on a ashate, right? Or
Like a
What?
man
Yeah,
purse.
what?
like a man purse, right? If in the right
Okay.
outfit, he probably could pull that off, right? But Chris Rock, everybody gonna be like, oh, he's trying to be funny, or maybe he's acting a little feminine, right?
But to me, that just really goes in line with what I'm saying. That it's all a man, well,
Yeah.
man-made, but it's all in the mind. It's all made up.
Perception.
Yeah, perception. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
it's perception, isn't it?
So you're saying some people can wear skirts. You're saying some can't, depending on if they can carry it off. I think that's what you're saying, then, T. But
I'm saying that people's depiction of you really influence a person who doesn't have a strong self-identity. You know what I mean? And that's what we have in society. There are a lot of people who don't realize who they are and have control over that. You know what I mean? So it goes a long way because of the influence that not just people in the population, but social media. Like, all of these constructs are very influential. So all this coincides with this issue. Not everyone sees it that way, though.
Yeah. I think if we're growing up in a society where society and women and everyone tells you that as a man, part of being a man is showing your emotions, you could argue if you still sort of dig your heels in and says, well, no, I'm not going to do that, then society may say, well, no, you're not a real man. Real men are able to show their emotions. They're not scared to show their emotions. But again, it just comes to the same thing, that it's this whole social construct of what they want, what is classed as feminine and what isn't.
Yeah, Roxanne, will you read that comment by Audrey? It's up a little bit.
I was just going to say, I've got so many comments to read out, so I need to start basically bring them into the show. Right, I've got. You said one from Audrey. The last comment.
Yeah, it starts out with
Yeah. If me and my partner are watching a film together and he wants to cry, he better tell me that he's got dust in his eyes, because I don't want to see any crying over this that aren't reality.
See?
So you're kind of making the point I made earlier, is like women like the thought of an emotional man, but as soon as you show it, they don't know what to do with it. So
yeah.
So if a guy says that to a woman, is that toxic masculinity?
If a man does anything towards a woman, it's toxic masculinity.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Roxanne.
Okay, Tracy Alder, she's come back at you, Joey. She says, Debbie Does Dallas. I remember that, showing your age.
Yeah.
Debbie St. George Alexander says, I think that it's important for men to be emotional freely. Tracy Alder, she says, No, we give our kids the toys they ask for. My son carried a doll in his pushchair, not on show, but he carried it around. He is now a taxman and has a son of his own. We don't give them a toy and say you will play with that because you are supposed to.
But Tracy just said, now, normally when you're a child, 3, 4, you don't really, you don't ask that. I don't know anybody who bought their son a doll. That's the first that I've heard of that. But on the average, of course, when we talk, we never talk about in absolutes. But on the average, parents buy their sons, I don't know, they are dolls, aren't they? Really, action men or whatever, guns in America for a living.
Action men, exactly, yeah,
or whatever. But
the British.
Sorry, guys. But you sell them here of a family buying their son a doll. Again, I'm not saying absolute because there's always parents that do, but and that's the point I'm making.
Yep.
So, and in doing that, we are guiding a child in a certain direction. We put our boys in trousers, and because I'm sure Tracy's going to come back to her son wore a skirt, but on average, but on average, we put our boys in trousers and we put our girls in skirts. So again, we are leading them a certain way, and that's what I mean by a social construct. That's why I say that to some extent, masculine and femininity, and the very fact that these messages are saying the same thing. If I don't want my man crying over movies. The truth is that there are movies that will affect men, even though Easy says in all his years there appears to be only 2. there are films out there that will affect us. And ladies,
what's the one that's got you crying? What's the one that made you cry?
I can't.
Hey,
jump in there.
Guys. Yeah. Hey, hold that thought. We're gonna go to break and be right back.
Okay.
It's the Indiana's music video show, playing all the best soul music videos, and it's better than the radio. So sit back and enjoy the show. It's the Indiana's music video show, playing all the best soul music videos, and it's better than the radio. So sit back and enjoy the show.
Keep it grown and sexy. We ain't playing no games. Tell me what's your love language. You can fill in the blanks. Touch me, tease me. No, my name is not Case. Indie Artist Music Video Show. Let's watch it at my place.
Welcome to Soul TV, and we are now streaming live on Television 2.0. We will provide new TV shows such as documentaries, reality TV shows, talk shows, cookery programs, music shows, concerts, red carpets, and more events, and a whole lot more. If you would like to find out more or run your own stream television channel, check us out on the website. All right, that's www.stream.com. Again, that's www.stream.com. Soul TV on Stream Television 2.0. It's the station that gives you more.
All right, we're back.
Right.
Something for the weekend.
So Andre, what's the film? Sorry, Andre. Sorry.
Nah, go ahead, Easy.
Andre, what's the film? Do you remember the film that made you cry?
He's like a dog with a bone, isn't he?
Or diarrhea.
Very good. All right. The film that comes to mind, I think, is the same film. The truth is, there have been other films. I have to admit, I won't go any further. There have been other films, but the one that always sticks to my mind, I think we mentioned this before, and you actually knew the name of the film, and it was about a black woman who had a child. I think the child must have been mixed race, or the child could get away with being mixed race. It's a black and white film, and this child was trying to integrate into white society, and every time she was making it somewhere, the mother would pop up and I guess expose her, and she would keep running away, and it was a yeah, it was a pretty hard film, man. And at the end, the mother died, and then the daughter broke down. Anyway, I don't know if you remember that film, but last time we spoke about it, you actually knew the name of it.
Yeah, Imitation of Life.
That's the one.
Yeah. So that's a film that comes to mind. But the reality is, there's been other films I just can't remember. And I don't mean cry as in break down, but there's definitely been films that brought a tear to my eye. But again, the reality is,
it touched you.
Yeah, especially if Roxanne's around, and most of the time I'll hide it or I'll make joke of it. But yeah, there are a few.
Okay, so go ahead, Joy.
Well, I was going to say, obviously we said films depending on the film, but when is it okay for a man to cry and it's not considered feminine?
Well, of course, like I think somebody said it, death. Nobody can tell me that there's a problem crying over someone that's passed.
Sure.
Because I would cry openly if someone passed, and I wouldn't really care what anybody said.
So, death and movies. Is there anything else? Can anyone?
What about the birth of your first child?
Absolutely.
Wow. I cried when my daughter was born, but I didn't cry when I didn't cry when my son was born.
I have to admit, I don't think I cried. I always say that for me, childbirth is the nearest thing I've ever seen to a miracle, and it definitely is an amazing time. But I have to admit, It didn't make me cry.
No, you didn't.
It didn't make me cry. But I have to admit, at the time, I am sort of filled up with emotion. But I guess it's not so much even the baby being born, but it's to see your partner and what they're going through to have the child. That was
okay.
You have to see.
So let's say, what if you broke in someone's house and you got stuck in the doggy door and the dog plowed you from behind? Like,
I cry openly.
I'd cry from laughing at him.
Tracy Alder has come back.
Yeah,
with you,
but would
I knew she would. All right, Tracy, it's been a while.
She says, I brought my son a doll as he asked for it, to the point of tears, while my eldest asked for a gun. Excuse me.
Did she get that too?
The doll got called Stinky and not called a feminine name. It wore no clothes and stayed in the pushchair, but he got comfort knowing it was there.
Ooh.
And no, Andre, he doesn't wear a skirt.
Okay. But he's walking around with a naked doll.
Stop. Bobby Whittaker says The Champ. So these are the films that made him cry. The Champ, Elephant Man, and Old Yeller. And Where the Red Fern Grows. I've never heard of that one. And
that's a movie based on a book.
Was a tear jerker.
All right. Bobby knows about The Imitation of Life. Yeah, it was. It really was.
So, all right. I'll be the one to do this. Do you think the acceptability of a man crying is I just thought of it a minute ago and I lost how I was trying to ask that question. But do you think it's more acceptable in some cultures and some races than others? Like, how's that viewed?
All right. In some cultures, it's looked upon as weakness.
Yes, I agree with that. I think it is for sure. Like,
but it's looked upon as weakness.
I think it's a difference between accepted and viewed upon as weakness, because you can accept something. And
then that's what I'm saying. Yes. Do you think in some cultures it's frowned upon, and in other cultures not so much?
Well, that's my point again.
I think your I don't want to say necessarily culture, but people usually ingratiate themselves with their culture. So,
sure.
So your culture it influences that. You know what I'm saying? Like, usually you hear like a guy in the neighborhood, like if you hear somebody saying, I saw him sitting in his truck crying, people are going to say, okay, why? It had to been like a prolific reason why this guy's crying. He found out his kid wasn't his wife died, his mother died. Like, it can't be because a dog chased him. Like, you know what I mean? Like stuff like that. So the thing I find crazy is that when guys have inherent fears, it's not respected. When women have inherent fears, it's not only should be respected, but should be tolerated regardless. Like a guy shouldn't be afraid of a dog, but a woman can. Or you know what I'm saying? Stuff like you don't know if a dog almost killed this guy when he was 6, and now he has a internal phobia of possibly being attacked or eaten by the
Maybe
dog.
he's just scared of dogs. Maybe he doesn't even have to have a reason. Maybe he's just scared of dogs, just like how some women might be scared of dogs.
But you don't think there has to be a reason why you're scared of dogs?
Yeah, but he's a man.
I mean, you got people scared of spiders. Why are they scared of spiders?
Because
that doesn't mean they all were attacked by one time. Some people just don't like the look of them.
I understand that. Out of everything in the world. No, I don't know that I agree with that. I think there is a reason why people are scared of spiders, for example.
Why do you think? Why do you think they are?
I can tell you why I was scared of spiders for so long. Because when I was young, I went to kill a spider, and that son of a bitch jumped at me and scared the shit out of me. Yeah, that's why.
Some people are just scared of it. I mean, like dogs as well. A dog barks. Dog barks at you. So that alone,
but I mean, could it not just be that they're scared of a spider because it looks weird and creepy and that does that? But I mean, but that's a reason. That's what I'm saying. That's a reason.
Of course. But my point was, it doesn't have to be some trauma that they went through, because because Big T is saying, like women, they might be scared of dogs, but you don't know the man. He may have went through some trauma when he was young. My point is only that just as a woman might be scared of the dog, the guy might just be scared of a dog. He doesn't have to have gone through some trauma. That's only the point I'm trying to make. So yes, it could be the same thing with a dog. You just don't like the noise that a dog makes when it looks at you and it barks. So
Andre, did you get caught in a pet door at some time? And that's what you're
No, but that's the thing about it, Andre. And depending on the society you in, the guy has to have an excuse,
right,
for showing that side.
But
when the women
again,
don't.
That's again comes back to this whole thing about this whole being a social construct and femininity. Let me just quickly ask this question then. Is holding hands with a guy, is that classed as feminine?
You mean like two guys holding hands?
Yeah, I don't think it's classed as feminine. I think it's just classed as weird.
Yeah.
If you're not, if it's not your son and he's a little kid, it's something that's accepted socially. But if you're adult or whatever, like two adults, and you're not in a relationship, then people are going to look at it as weird or strange or off. You know what I mean?
They do that in India. In India, men hold hands.
It's a cultural thing, though.
It's a cultural thing, though. So what does that mean? Does that mean it's okay in India?
It just means in India, no one thinks about it because it's a cultural thing. But if those people came, if the two people like the two men holding hands from India were in the U.S. and were doing that, people would think that was weird. For sure.
It's sort of mindset then.
I mean, regardless of mindset or culture or societal or not, regardless, it's still considered feminine.
But then that's what I'm talking about. The whole feminine, masculine thing. It's all a mindset. A guy wears a skirt. Some people think it's feminine. You might go to another country. It's fine. It's all in the mind. It's what people think. It's all a social construct. That's the point I'm trying to make. How can it be okay in one place and not in another place? Why? Because of what people think. It's all in the mind. I'm not sure how well I'm putting it over, but I'm just not sure.
No, I get what you're saying. I still all in the mind or not. It's still...
No. I agree. I agree. It is.
Sure. I mean, I think it is a societal thing. I agree for the most part with what you're saying, but I think still the question at hand is it are men becoming more feminine? And I think because we consider that feminine, the answer is yeah.
Okay, so Andre, how many men have you kissed in your life?
None.
You said none, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why is
I
that?
hope not.
I thought he said one. I'm sorry.
You say
Okay.
said one.
Okay, so the reason I asked this question is because
Yeah.
when you were single and able to, you could have, right?
No.
Why not? Why couldn't you?
Why not?
No one's saying you should have or you wanted to. We're saying, but you could have if you did want to, right?
Yeah.
No.
So if that's the case, hold on a minute. If that's the
You're
case,
proving my point. You're
Hold on.
proving my point.
if that's the case, and even if you had wanted to, you couldn't have. How do we know you don't want to be married to a man and you just can't?
No.
He sounds like a senator in front of Congress. He sounds like a senator in front of Congress.
Oh, that's how he started to feel, mate. That's how he started to feel.
Yes.
What is that?
At the recommendation of my attorney, I must plead the fifth, or I do not recall.
I did not kiss that man.
yeah.
I don't care what anyone
Yeah,
says. I did not kiss that man. I did not want to kiss that man. He came underneath my desk under his own accord.
Your Highness, have you ever spent time with Jeremy Epstein? With Epstein? I do not recall.
Okay.
Oh man.
Oh,
All right. So let's switch to the flip side of this, right?
Okay.
So, in your opinion, do you believe that you see a trend of women acting more masculine? Because I've came across women that move just like I did in my heyday. Like when it come to how they treat guys, how they act in the bedroom, how they I don't want to say how they negotiate, but just their standards and tones and everything. Like it's very testosterone, if I could say, you know what I mean? Like there isn't a lot of no, I'm just saying, like honestly, like I like the first time I got used for sex, right? I'll never forget it.
The first time there were more.
Yeah.
Of course, he went back, didn't he? Went back again and again. Yeah, about 10 times with the same man.
You didn't learn the first time. Yeah.
The first. Do tell us about the first time, T.
I'm more interested in hearing about the second and third time. I need to know how he got duped again.
Yeah, they saw you coming, didn't they?
She called him a couple days later, said, "You want to come back over?" And he was like, "Now look, you're not using me again, are you?" She's like, "No, I promise." He's like, "All right, if you're not using me, I'll come back over."
Okay.
Did you cry afterwards and say, "I just feel like I'm being used. I'm just a piece of meat for you." No, nobody loves old muffin
not
top.
at all.
Nobody loves old muffin top, bro.
Nobody loves muffin top.
Okay, so like I was saying before, I was so
Did you
rudely
feel it? Did you
interrupted.
feel emasculated? Did you?
No. So once she woke up, right, and she hit me and was like, "So what you about to do?" And that's universal for no, no. Like after we got it in, we both passed out, and when she woke up, she said she hit me on my shoulder.
Wait.
What you about to do?
After you both got it in?
Yeah. Don't forget she's been masculine. So
yeah.
So yeah.
Okay.
You know what I meant, Joey. You know what I meant.
Look, I'm just trying to take things at face value.
Simultaneous explosion. If you want to frame it around
when you both got it out. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Oh, you hit that point of no return at the same time.
So she said basically what you about to do, and that's universal for you ain't got to go home, but you got to get out of here. So I just was like, I'm gone. You know what I mean? I got dressed and I left, and there was no other conversation. There was no need to cuddle, order food, or maintain some type of conversation after that. And I just was like, wow, I've never had it flipped on me like that. And it was interesting and it threw me off. But then I noticed this isn't anything new, and it doesn't just happen once. You know what I mean? Because it's I don't want to say it's I guess you kind of say it's kind of a part of women taking their power back when it comes to how relationships go and how they get treated and how they treat others. You know what I mean? I mean vice versa for men and stuff like that. But you see that, like, you used to hear about guys having multiple women. Now women have multiple men that there's a Monday guy, there's a guy that does her grass, there's a guy who uh gives her a certain pleasure that she requires that the other guys can't fulfill. You know what I mean? Like they have their own rosters now. You know what I mean? And they move like you would say some guys do. You know what I mean? So that's something that really wasn't
this is
big.
Craig David song.
Yeah, that's something that really wasn't big, let's say like 20 years ago. But now there's an uprise of it, and it's part of a women. It's a part of the women's empowerment movement, in my perspective. I could be wrong, but that's the way I see it.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's like I said, I think society is now moving the whole goalpost for what is feminine and what is masculine in an attempt to make everybody more equal. So yes, it is much more acceptable for women to do masculine things, even like you said, or things that were classed as masculine, even like having, multiple boyfriends. If guys can do it, why can't we? I mean, we hear that all the time now. So yes, so society is encouraging men to be more feminine, show more emotions, all those sort of things. And at the same time, it's empowering women and encouraging women to letting them know that they can do anything that a man can do. Of course, you can argue, well, when you say anything, but nevertheless, that's the term that's used. Anything a man can do, a woman can do just as well. So when you have both of those mindsets, then of course you're going to get men doing things that were once classed as feminine, and you're going to get women doing things that were once classed as masculine. And that's the world we're living in right now.
Well,
Can I just...
I tell you, I'm sorry, go ahead, Roxanne.
No, right. It's going to basically, this question is going to lead onto something a little bit different. It's a question that was put by Chico Bennett. He says, what do you think is going to happen when you have less men raising their sons? Not enough men stepping up to help out with the young men that don't have father mentors or positive men around. We need more men that know what men are by the example that their fathers or mentors showed or taught them through example.
Could someone just tell me if they agree with that or not? Because I've got something I'm going to say after that.
I was going to say that doesn't really, I don't want to say it doesn't really matter, because I would rather raise a decent person than a society standard man. You know what I mean? So being like, my son is going to be a new generation version of me. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter what society thinks of him or whatever, but he's going to be better than me in the regards of, emotional growth, financial responsibility, and having a good head on his shoulders, and also being chivalrous. You know what I mean?
But
so I can't speak for society.
Yeah, but I think the comment is basically saying about children being brought up without that masculine or that male access, that male influence is a better term. That's really what that question is asking. So in other words,
but he's asking from his perspective of what he view a man is, not with you or Easy or Joey or even Roxanne. You know what I mean? Because to him, Ask him what is a man, and I guarantee it might be similar to yours, but it also could be different.
Okay. So I guess in a nutshell, then the question he's asking is, can boys grow to be men even without a male influence? Or am I pushing that question?
Yes.
Well, yes, there is a.
No, yes.
Is that what you're saying, Easy? Well, Chico Bennett says a father is supposed to teach his son what a man is supposed to be.
All right, so let's just stop that. Let's just stop there. T, is that statement, would you agree with that statement or not?
Technically, that's true.
So what if the man's not there then?
Exactly. Then the mother has to teach the man.
Hold on.
how to be a man.
She teaches him how he should treat women, but he has to learn on his
Exactly.
own how to be a man, or through other people besides the father.
Okay, so you hear what you just said then. But so really then, what you're saying is that what? You're saying then she can't teach him to be a man. He has to learn to be a man himself. Is that what you just said?
Because she's not a man.
Okay, well, T, I mean, Easy, what's your thoughts on that? Because I think you just said something different.
Yeah. No, you look. I said, as growing up as a my mum and stuff by herself. She had to do, like we've said this before. She'd done both things, and she could only teach us. She could teach us so much to a certain point. However, like T said, teach us how to respect, or even not even. She didn't have to teach us. She just did things, and you saw it. The way she had to take both roles. She had to do that because there was no one else around. Okay, so she had to. So unless you're blind and stupid, you see what your mother did, and you think, right, okay, you don't want it to happen to you or your children, and you act accordingly. Everything else, like T says, you have to think on your feet.
The reason why I asked that question is because we had this discussion way back, a couple of years back, Easy, you and I. And the question at the time was, can a single mother raise a boy to be a man? So, Joey, let me ask you that question. Can a single mother raise a boy to be a man?
Not completely, no.
Okay.
Yeah. I think Chico agrees.
Yeah, that's why I'm just trying to get that out because
well, it's just, but I also, on the flip side of that, I also don't think a single father can raise a girl to be a woman completely.
If anyone had said yes, that would have been my next question.
Yeah, no, I don't. Yeah,
but we had a huge thing about that, and a lot of people were offended when I said that a single mother cannot raise a boy to be a man, and a lot of people were offended by that statement.
Yeah, Chico says a father is supposed to teach a son what a man's supposed to be by showing him by example.
Right.
It's like the first few years are for the mother.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what if the father's not there?
Then I guess the idea would be that the hope would be that the mother would have male influences, so there'd be people around that would try to help.
Yeah, like an uncle or grandpa or something like that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Takes a village to raise a child, but yeah.
But you gotta hope that whoever the male influencers are actually stand-up individuals, because otherwise you got a generation of F-boys that's going around that women are consistently talking about, that's contaminating the dating pool or just the male pool in general, you know what I mean? But so okay, so let me put this question out here, right? There's a certain activity that Trick Daddy is a fan of, right? And it happens in the bedroom. And
sorry, BT, could you repeat that? There's a what?
There's a certain activity that happens in the bedroom that a lot of guys are advocating for these days, right?
Okay.
And it involves them lifting their legs up. If you get where my mind is going,
they want to have their prostate milked.
Does that make
I mean, I
Does
just throw
that
it out
does
there.
that
That's what it is. No, I've never done that before.
T,
But
the-
just say it. T, just say it.
Does-
Just say it.
that tonguing the brown eye? I'm saying, does that make you feminine?
It makes you so many things.
Yeah.
Feminine didn't come to mind though.
Yeah.
It makes you so many things. But feminine wasn't in my top 5.
I'm just saying, there's a lot of guys who advocate for that because they enjoy it. I'm not a fan. You know what I mean? So to each his own. But my question is, does that make you feminine if you enjoy that? Because there's a lot of what you would consider straight guys, alpha guys, who enjoy that feeling, that sensation. You know what I mean? So
yeah, that doesn't make you feminine. No, I don't think it makes you feminine.
Oh, really?
Not feminine. No.
So
Makes you
you're
feel feminine.
so you're an advocate. You're an advocate, Andre.
No, that doesn't mean I'm an advocate. I just don't. I think you could argue it makes you a bit weird. I was going to say maybe weird is the right word. No, weird's not the right word.
And peculiar, yeah.
Not the right word. Weird isn't the right word. I know where T's trying to go with it. But no, I don't think it makes him feminine though. No. Sorry,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but there's some women who have guys who don't know how to be straight up and introduce that into their sexual activities, and they look at them like, man, what are you, gay? Like, why would you ask me to do that? So that's a part of that whole mindset. You know what I mean? Because men aren't supposed to like that, according to women or according to society. You know what I'm saying? And just like the women, lesbian women who only date women that use strap-ons. It's like you don't like men, but you like the activity that you get from men. Is that contradictory? Like, I can't stand a man. Now put that purple thing on and come in here and give me what I've been asking for.
Yeah, I mean it's a little different. I mean, because the relationship carries on, once the purple thing comes off. So,
I'm just saying, like, go ahead, Easy.
I was gonna say, so once the one eye has been kissed, it's all over. That's it. You go your separate ways.
What do you mean kiss? From what I hear, there's a lot more than kissing going on.
I wouldn't know. I won't know. I wouldn't know, bro. I just wouldn't know. We're British. We don't know that stuff. We don't know that stuff over here.
Yeah.
But UK women are freakier. Come on now, you guys got like red light districts somewhere over there.
You keep saying this. You keep saying this that British women are freakier.
I get that argument, from time to time, like, oh, you think you had a freaky woman? Wait till you come to, Europe or whatever. We use like monkeys and stuff. I'm like, I don't know.
Oh man,
I may have to rethink my trip to Europe. Jesus, wow. So
I mean, it's a lot of stigmas that you hear about that. Like guys wearing certain colors, or I think Andre, you brought it up about guys getting like their eyebrows done or something like that. Like for me, I don't think about that stuff. Like the thought never crosses my mind. I've had a couple of females saying, "Hey, your eyebrows really need to be plucked," and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, but whatever, right? But there's some guys, like usually you see those in like metrosexual men or people who I forget the name of the word, but they care about their presence, about their, what I'm saying, like everything they got going on when it comes down to like, they're grooming when it comes to like exfoliation and stuff like that. And then you have, I guess, what society would consider the average guy who doesn't pay that stuff any mind. You know what I mean? So you have to be categorized as something that's acceptable in order for people not to deem you as less than what you are or something different than what you are.
So you think caring about grooming? I'm not accusing you of this. I'm asking. You think caring about grooming is a feminine trait?
I think
No.
it used to be back in the day.
Yeah, but not now.
Yeah, not now.
Yeah.
Not now. But that's my
Yeah.
point again.
Yeah.
Well, I guess that kind of depends on
okay.
what you consider grooming. I guess. I mean.
Okay.
what,
Okay.
you
So
know.
let me ask you this, right? Do you like for your lady to be trimmed, or it doesn't matter?
Whatever she wants. I don't care.
Yeah. It's hers.
Okay. Okay. Because
Her body,
all
her
right, so
choice.
you're not going to
Steve.
look at
Her
her
body,
as being.
her choice.
That's what I'm saying. So that's what I'm saying. There are some guys
It was
that look
trained
at a
so
girl
well.
who might
Trained
have
so
like
well
a
as well.
little. They look at a woman who has like a little peach fuzz, or might have a chin hair or two, or a happy trail, or a
Oh,
bush
you're talking about
down
facial
there.
hair.
That's
Okay. You're back
no.
on the.
I'm talking
you're
about
back
hair.
on
Period.
the Caitlyn Jenner thing again. Okay.
No. I'm talking about hair.
Shadow.
Period.
Yeah,
I'm talking about hair. Period. There's some guys will be like, like that's not what I like, or
Sure.
that's not what I'm into.
Sure.
And there's some guys.
So what are you saying? You're saying what? Hold on, T. What are you saying? A woman with a little stubble on her chin. You're okay with that, yeah?
I've experienced women who have had fire.
I just wanted to yes or no.
I'm just saying, it's some girls that got like a little thing right here.
Yeah,
they got that fire. Is all I'm saying.
When he uses the burn up the passport.
Maybe they've got that. Maybe they've got a mustache because they're trying to cover up the fires that they actually have.
No.
Wow.
I'm just saying, you can't judge a book by its cover. Think about it.
Do all the time, man. We do all the time.
We
do all the
thought
time.
about it.
Think about these women that you see on the street, right? That you wouldn't give a second eye on your worst day, right? They aren't going around sexually unsatisfied. You want to know why? Because there's some guy that took that trip and has a season pass for that every year.
So eloquent indeed. Okay.
I'm dead serious. If those women ever,
that's why he's laughing like that.
if those women ever wrote a book, those guys will probably leave the country or do something else self-inflicting, is all I'm saying, because they know what they were into, but they would never bring that to the light. You know what I mean? Just because of how the society would have viewed them. Like, you really slept with Swamp Thing. Well, Swamp Thing from her bed to the hallway. It was amazing.
I thought Eddie Murphy made all that. I thought Eddie Murphy made all that okay. I thought that was acceptable now.
Wow. That's funny.
So I was asking that about the grooming, and because real world example, like I have a standing 3-week appointment to go get a haircut. Like it's on the books. It's nonstop. Is that considered a feminine thing? Do you consider that feminine?
Well, the fact that Roxy says no, man, but I don't know. The fact that you've got an appointment sounds weird to me.
Why? I go to the.
He's organized.
No. Normally, you want to trim, you go barbers, you get a trim. That means you're going. We get salon. You're going salon to get your haircut.
No,
So
I go to a
it's
single
different- it's
person. I go to a
different
single
here.
person. She's got her own. She's got her own business. She's a single chair. She only does men's hair. But it's hard to get an appointment with her. So I just keep about 3 weeks is when my hair gets to the point where if I let it go any longer, it's going to start to look bad. And so I just have a standing 3-week appointment. That way I know I've got an appointment. I don't have to try to find out if she's got any availability or anything. So I just go get a haircut.
Yeah. And unlike this barbershop, you don't want to hang out all day in a barbershop waiting for your barber. You know what I mean?
No.
Especially if you only got one guy that you trust. Because me, if I don't have an appointment, I'm either the first person in the chair or the last person in the chair. So that way I'm there less than an hour. You know what I mean? Like it's cool to catch up and watch movies and stuff like that. But you know, nowadays I'm on the go. I got stuff to do. I can't lose 2 to 3 hours possibly waiting on a fresh cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah, every 3 weeks
when
on Friday, I'm the last one in there. I leave work and go straight there, get a haircut, and go home. Like that's it. So
I'm just pulling your leg.
At first,
I know you are. I'm just.
That's fine.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Joey, at first I thought you meant the other grooming because
No,
that's key
no.
in certain relationships. Like, you know,
I can do that myself.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that it's some women require it,
Sure.
others don't. You know what I mean? Like for me, it's a hygiene thing, and you know, ain't nothing better than you know what I mean.
No,
no, I don't. I want to hear. I want to hear what nothing is better than.
Yeah, I want to hear this too. I have to admit.
Oh,
okay. Go on, T. Back, sack, and crack, right?
A woman enjoys a good scent and a smooth surface. So when it's as smooth as eggs,
all right.
I don't know about that.
Well, I guess it's easier to slip something in there. I guess
a good scent, a smooth surface. Does bleaching on a marble table do?
Maybe you guys need to go back to school. Maybe that's it.
So back in the day, I'm assuming again. Back in the day, even our parents' generation, 30 years ago. I just can't imagine that my dad and his mates would have been talking about going wherever it is you go to get whatever it is you're getting. So 30 years ago, that would have been deemed feminine. That's the point I'm making. Things have been. Yeah.
Hold on. You think I go somewhere to have that done?
So what? You do it yourself?
Yeah.
I don't have time for that.
Fly paper.
I don't have time for that.
Yeah,
quick trim with the clippers, and I'm good. I don't have time for the rest of that.
What about the back and the crack? How's that work?
I don't worry about that.
T.
I got Manscaped. I can't speak for anybody else. There's
I got man help.
I don't know. I'm trying not to, but like, how are you doing the back and the crack on your own? Are you bent over a mirror and I don't get that. I mean, Jesus. I don't want to do that. I don't want to see myself looking like that, let alone anyone else. So
you talking about something that's totally different. I didn't know you get waxed. That's different.
I don't get waxed. That's the thing.
Anymore?
At all. At all. I've never done that. But you said you do it all yourself, and they, Andre and Easy both said, what about the back and the crack? And I'm thinking, well, if you're doing it all yourself, I don't understand I don't get it. I don't get it.
Can I just go back?
There's nothing wrong with
Chico Bennett.
Yes, please. Yes.
Very vocal. He says, okay, I can tell you facts. I couldn't have taught my daughter how to be a woman. I could have given my opinion on what I thought a good woman was, period. I am a man.
Well put.
Deb St. George Alexander says, more men are being the caregivers alone to their children. So they have to have a more somewhat feminine aspect, which is correct.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I guess, men are looking after kids themselves now, which I guess is less likely to happen in our parents' generation.
And Titus Wambu says, lovely show.
Hey.
And Chico Bennett, please.
Great stuff. So, then, since it's going to be quiet,
what's wrong? I was going to say, T. Go on.
You were going to say what?
I was just going to ask.
Go ahead.
No, go on, Andre. Go on.
There's a delay somewhere.
Me. Is it a bad thing if men are becoming more feminine? I was going to ask. Is it a bad thing?
Yeah.
Why is that again? Just remind me why.
Because I think that'll be partially the downfall of our civilization. as we know it.
It's very dramatic.
It is.
Down
Well, hold on
of
a minute.
civilization.
Hold on a minute. Go back in history and all of the great dynasties and all the great civilizations in China, the Roman Empire. Their downfall, right before the downfall, they started questioning gender roles and whether there was an actual legitimate genders or not. That happened right before the downfall of every one of them.
Just name me one.
All of them?
Sorry.
The Roman Empire.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah, give an example. Give an example.
The Roman Empire. They started.
Yeah, give an example. Yeah,
they started questioning gender and gender identity and all that stuff, and that happened right before. I'm not saying that caused it, but I'm saying one thing for sure that is a characteristic that happened in all of those societies right before their downfall was the issue of gender and gender identity came up.
Okay, I'm gonna look into that. I have to admit, I'd never heard that. The Roman Empire. Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I don't see.
So women brought them down.
So no, that's not what I said.
No, I was trying with saying that as well.
It's a woman's fault. The woman
ate the apple. Woman ate the apple. Damn.
Okay.
No,
I
got to tread lightly here because I may piss a lot of people off. But so, all right. In general, men tend to take on jobs that are more dangerous, and a man will, in general, take on a job that they don't like if it's paying more money. In general, a man will do that before a woman will. In general, right? Do we all agree on this?
Yeah.
Yes, in general, men will, but I'm not sure that women don't as well. I'm assuming that
some women do, but a man is more likely to, I think.
Okay.
Yeah, because he's the breadwinner. So if it's more money,
these days, again, it's even questionable itself.
Sure, but in general, a man. I mean, men die earlier than women and things like that. But I mean, in general, a man will take on a more dangerous job before a woman does. And in our society, that men in general, because they're willing to do dangerous jobs, that's why you have a lot of bridges and a lot of buildings and a lot of the things that have kind of pushed society along from an industrial standpoint, that is. And yeah. Jesus Christ, it sounds like I'm talking bad about women, and I'm not. I'm just saying that if we continue to go down this road where men are getting more and more feminine, you're going to have less of that happening. And the society, I think, will eventually we will not progress as much from an industrial standpoint in society if you have men continuing to get more and more feminine.
Yeah, right. I guess the question is, what is femininity? Because if we're just talking about showing your emotions or even plucking your eyebrows or even wearing a skirt, I'm not sure that makes you less of a man. It doesn't stop you from doing those jobs.
Yeah, I'm not saying, I don't think that it makes you less of a man, but it does make you more feminine.
So if a construction worker,
less of a man, then you should still be able to do the manly thing. Then the manly things. If it doesn't make you less of a man, then all those things you mentioned, building bridges, you should still be able to do them.
Yeah, but it's still becoming more feminine.
Okay, so if a team of construction workers could work safely in skirts and halter tops, opposed to boots and pants and safety vests and all that, right? And they're still doing the job, pouring concrete, putting up buildings, stuff like that, right? Does that make them less masculine?
Say that one more time. What now?
I said if a team of construction workers, right, which are generally men, right? Not always, but they're generally men, right? We're doing the same job, but they did it in skirts and high heels and halter tops, and they could obviously do the job safely. Does that make them less masculine? Yes. Even though they're doing the same job, but just dressed differently, right?
Yeah.
It makes them less of a man?
Look, I didn't say makes them less of a man. It makes them less masculine. It's two different things.
So
does that make them more feminine then? Let's put it that way.
Sure. Is a man that dresses like a woman more feminine? Yeah.
So if a Victoria's Secret model wore a business suit or whatever, like the same way a man would or whatever, and carried herself the way a man would in the street, no makeup, 5 o'clock shadow, whatever. Does that make her less feminine?
Yes, it does make her less feminine.
Oh, no, you went too far though, T. What if she's just wearing a suit, a man's suit?
It's still less
Does that make
feminine.
her-
Okay.
It's still
Okay,
less
all right, so
feminine than a woman's suit.
Okay. So do you all right, so if that's the case, right? She's still doing the job, she's just dressed differently, right?
Exactly.
So that makes her less that makes them less or whatever, right? In all
Less
situations.
It doesn't make them less of a woman. It makes them less feminine.
Right. See, so
that's
what
what I'm
we're saying
saying.
here,
That's
so clothing alone can make you more or less masculine and feminine. Clothing alone.
Even if it's just the smallest amount, it can make you less
I
feminine
think-
or
I
less
think-
masculine.
I think that's a mind thing. I don't think it really does. I think society tells us that. I don't think it really
Okay.
does. I don't think if you're wearing a
Okay, yeah.
I mean, it may be the
because
case, but that's still our reality, though. I mean,
they're
Well,
still
no,
doing the
not
job.
everyone's reality.
Yeah, but
it's
that's
a
what I'm saying.
majority
They're
of
still doing the
people.
job. The only thing that changed was what they had on.
Sure.
So that makes them less of whatever. That makes them less masculine or makes them less feminine, right? That's kind of
Yeah, sure.
obscure in a one-sided way of thinking, right?
Sure.
Okay.
But I think it
So
does.
if
It doesn't make them less of a man or less of a woman, but it does make them less masculine and less feminine. Even if it's just the smallest amount, even if it's just if clothing is the only thing, it's still a slightly less amount.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's really dodgy ground if you're saying that a man is less masculine because he's wearing something that you think is feminine, even though he may wear that same thing in another country. So if a man wears a skirt and he's in a building site, you think he's more feminine. What if he goes to another country where it's acceptable? Is he still more feminine there?
Okay, Joey, let's pose a question here.
Just
What
jump right in,
about
he's-
color? What about color?
What do you mean?
What about color? If a guy wore bright color,
No.
is he classed as feminine?
No.
Okay.
Orange, pink, fuchsia.
No, I
Yes,
think
to
the
to
fact that you, I
some,
think,
to some people,
Right.
that would dignify that.
sure, to
I
some
agree.
people it
Or
would. Yeah, I'm
signify
sure
that.
that there's people and there's people out there that think
Oh,
all
okay.
kinds of things.
All right.
I mean, but
So-
we're playing to what the majority of people are, and I don't think the majority of people think that. But I think the majority of people do look at clothing as a visual look of whether someone is masculine or feminine. That's why if you see a lesbian, for instance, that's dressed a particular way, you call her butch because that's a masculine look. In general, that's what we
Okay.
do. It doesn't mean she's less of a woman. It just means that she's, less feminine or more masculine.
Okay, let me ask this question, right? What are some characteristics of men?
Well, I can name two:
And they are
twig and berries.
all right. Tough, strong, tall, big. Like these are things that you hear when you
Yeah.
think about men, right? You know what
Sure.
I'm saying?
Okay.
Like
I don't- I don't
protectors and stuff
I don't
like
think-
that.
Yeah, I wouldn't have thrown tall in there, but yeah, sure.
I've got at least
Okay,
some
all
three.
right.
Virile.
Resilient, brave, fertile, right? You know what I'm saying? Like these are some things that you think about when you think of men. So let's go
Okay.
to this word tough, right?
Okay.
Gay men take it up the anus.
Not all gay
And
men.
to some people, that's some of the toughest things you can do in life. Joey, can you take it up the anus?
Hold on a minute. Can I or will I? That's a different thing. Those are two different questions. Can I or will I is not the same question.
Will you?
In hairs.
The answer to, and you know what? They're not mutually exclusive. So
The question is, will you?
I guess it depends on how much I'm getting paid.
I think we should ask Caitlin. I think we should ask Caitlin.
That's very so cool.
We should ask Caitlin. Ask
Okay.
Caitlin.
So how about you, Easy? Will you?
What? You're breaking up, bro. You're breaking up. You are breaking up.
No,
You are
even with
breaking
the
up.
delay, you
proper.
heard me.
Seriously.
Question is, will you?
About that's all,
Andre?
folks. Seriously, no, absolutely not.
No.
No.
So for me.
So that's 5 no's, right? So no, Roxanne, this doesn't fall on you, but apparently
Emphatic.
we aren't manly men because we don't do that, right?
What?
No.
Who says so? Who says so? Who says
You're
so?
saying
No,
that.
Who says so?
He's trying to make a point that tough is considered manly, and that's the toughest thing you can do. I think the toughest thing you could do is probably fight the person off that's trying to do that to you. So
And win.
Can't even believe we're talking about this.
Look,
it's not a we here.
I'm just saying. I'm just saying that it depends on your perception and really your society of how you view this.
Yeah,
so,
but we're all in society. I mean, and I think the majority of people, I stand on what I said. The majority of people look at clothing, to go back to that. The majority of people do look at clothing as being kind of masculine or feminine, depending on what you're wearing. I mean, that's the majority, not everyone, but the majority of people do.
Okay. All right. So, Andre, you grew up in the 70s, right?
I will. Yeah, I was
you grew
around.
up in the 70s, right?
I was around.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you wear clothes as tight as you did back in the 70s?
Well, again, the answer is probably no. Do I wear clothes? No, hold on. No, I don't. In 70s, I was wearing tight clothes in 70s.
Yeah, a lot of people were.
I was pretty young then, so I can't remember what I was wearing in the 70s.
A lot of people were, because that was the style, and those are clothes. It was accepted because that was the style. You know what I'm saying? So it didn't make them less masculine. It means that was the style for guys.
Yeah, I'm really not sure about that the clothes thing, making you more or less masculine. But that's what we're here for, to discuss those things. So according to everything that everyone's saying, is there a place for masculine men in today's society?
Of course.
Well, you say of course. I mean, these days, even things like opening the door, for a woman now, there's talk that you shouldn't really do that, because what you're doing is you're implying that a woman is the weaker sex, and that they can't manage to open the door themselves. If she's got something in her hands,
and if you don't open the door for them, they slag you off for it.
And we talking about a society where the word decent is fading away as well.
Sure.
Like, just because you're being a decent person doesn't mean that you're intruding on someone's femininity or their power as a woman, or taking away what equality they do have. That's just you being decent. If you want to act like chivalry is dead or is foreign to you, that's on you. But don't get mad when I slam the door back and walk in the other direction, because that's what I'll do.
I mean, I hold the door open for any. If I'm going through a door and someone's coming up behind me to do the door, I just hold the door open for. I don't care, male, female, whatever. Yeah. I don't care. I think, to answer the question, yes, there's a place in society for masculine men. I think it's needed. I mean, and so I think there's a place there, even if the loud minority of people feel like that's toxic and it shouldn't be. There's still a place for them, because, as I said before, I wholeheartedly agree. Without manly men and masculine men, and I'm not talking about toxic, I'm talking about manly, masculine men, this society is going to crumble. We're seeing it in the U.S.
So, just very quickly, then, what do you class as a masculine man? Then, what's masculine?
There's lots of things that are masculine. I mean, like we talked before. I mean, that willing to do the dangerous jobs because they need to be done. No, but
I'm talking about the average Joe. So, what do you do that's masculine then?
I like sports. I'm into cigars. I'm into whiskey.
I like sports.
Those are things that I consider to be a masculine thing. It's not to say that women can't. I'm just saying, like, your typical male is going to be into sports. I think it's a masculine thing to like to do work with your hands, and I enjoy
If a
doing
woman
work
likes
with my
sports,
hands.
does that mean she's into something masculine then? Surely not.
It traditionally it's masculine, sure.
Wow.
I don't think that makes her masculine.
Yeah.
But
I didn't
I'm
being
just
into
saying,
sports,
like,
I didn't
traditionally more men are into sports traditionally, and I think, like I said, I like to do things with, I like to do work with my hands. As far as like some of my hobbies are, like I like to make things, like build things, whatever. So
Again, are you saying then that if a woman has a hobby that's making things, she's doing something that's masculine?
I think it's traditionally a more masculine thing.
Would you guys agree with that? T?
No.
Yeah, you see, but again, my point is this whole what's masculine and feminine. The lines are not only
Yeah,
are
but
they blurred,
if I tell you, okay, visualize a woodworker or a carpenter, what are you going to visualize? A man or a woman?
well,
A
in the
woman
old
in a
days, I would
bikini.
have visualized a man, but I'm just not sure now in today's life if I'm sure there's many women that are carpenters now.
Yeah, but is it the majority? Is it the
No,
majority?
it's not the majority. I mean, what about IT then? IT, computer
Okay.
stuff.
What about it?
Is that a masculine job?
I don't think so. I don't think it's either.
Well, the majority of people in IT are men.
I understand that, but I don't visualize a particular sex of people when I visualize an IT person. I may visualize a particular race of people more than another, but not a gender.
Indian.
Yeah.
I can't believe you let him walk. I can't believe you let him walk you into that one, Joey.
He
Man.
didn't walk me into it. I ran guns blazing into that. So, anyway, it's time to go. It's it's already after. So
I think I think we successfully picked a good topic today because we ran out of time talking about it.
Yeah.
We need to pick this up in the future. And I don't know about you guys, but I had a great time. And I just want to get everyone's final thoughts before we sign off. Let's start with you, Joey.
Yeah, I mean, clearly, again, I'm right and everyone else is wrong. I mean, that's it. No, but if you're new to the show, and even if you're not new to the show, go follow us on Facebook and subscribe to us on YouTube, please. Yeah, thanks for showing up with us today, and we'll be back in 2 weeks.
All right, Easy. How about you?
Brilliant show. Some things were deconstructed and moved around. I'm not sure that all men are feminine. Like I said, I think a lot more men are just being honest about it. So especially younger men, they're not doing things we did or our parents or our fathers would do. They've got no problem doing it. They're not got no problem being out in the open. You know what I mean? Like I said, the show as a whole has been absolutely funny, absolutely brilliant, as per usual.
Okay. How about you, Andre?
Yeah, again, like I concur with everyone. Great show. Just want to say, thanks to all the people, all the comments that were pushed out. Great to see that, and of course, thanks to Soul TV as well. But see everyone in 2 weeks. And as Joey said, check out the Something for the Weekend Facebook page
and YouTube. Roxanne.
Again, another great show, especially where you can see the audience participation was just off the chain. It was crazy. So thank you guys for your comments. Sorry, we couldn't get to read them all out, but thank you for joining us. Thank you.
And I concur. I think today's show went off without a hitch. Great participation from the audience. Without you guys, this wouldn't be possible. So kudos to you. And man, we're going to sign off. See you guys in 2 weeks, and don't forget to subscribe, follow, like, and share. It goes a long way, and we appreciate it. So, you want to say goodnight, Joey?
Good night, Joey.
You want to say goodnight, Joey? Easy.
Yeah. Good night, Joey. Good night, BT. Good night, Roxanne. Good night, Andre. Does that sound familiar?
Andre?
Yeah.
Good night to all the listeners.
Innit? Yeah. This is the Waltons, yeah. Yeah, good night, everyone.
Roxanne?
Sure.
Hey, good night, everybody. I've been your host.
It was on fire.
This has been something for the weekend. We'll see you in 2 weeks. Peace.
Sorry.